Welcome back. In today's video, we are going to give you a brief review of what has happened so far and give you insights over different types of charts and plots. Here we see that we are having a line chart that shows sales trend over 6 months. For example, we see that the amount of sale in the month of January is 500. In February is 700, then it's 800. We have a reduction in April, and then it goes up again in to 900 in May, and then we are having more than that even in June. So we are using a single line chart to show the trend over 6 months. So basically, line charts are ideal for trends over time. When you want to show a trend over time, it's better to use the line charts as you see here. And basically how we are doing the line chart, we learned it so far. We are having the months, we are having the sales, then we are having the figure size, and we are plotting the line chart, and in this part we are labeling the x-axis, y-axis, and we are putting the title. And here we are showing the legend. The legend is being shown there, which is here. And also we are having the grid. As you see, we are having the grid, these grained lines. If you want to have that, we simply call the grid function and put true in parentheses. So here we learned that if we want to show something over time, like a trend over time, it's ideal to use a line chart. However, on the other hand, if we want to have the discussion over the correlation, we see that it's better to have a scatter plot, because now here we can see the overlaps quite easily. It's very much traceable. We see that, okay, this part we are having the density, but this part it's empty, completely empty. So it's good to use a scatter plot when we are dealing with correlations. For example, here we are having the correlation between the height of people and their weight. Here we are generating our height and weight. For example, we are having the normal distribution being used for the height, and we are having again a normal distribution with the standard deviation of 5 and the mean of 0, and we are generating 100 points with respect to this information. And also here we are having the mean of 170 with the standard deviation of 10, and we are having 100 points or heights being generated. We are having the size, and we are plotting our scatter plot, height, weight, color, alpha, which is the transparency, and the label. And we are showing the grid as well here. So we use the grid function and we set it to be true. We see that here, for example, when we are having the height of 170, the majority part for the weight is between 80 and 90, and we are having a lot of overlaps here. However, for people that are usually, for example, having the height of 190, in our sample, we don't have any of them being lower than 90 kilograms of weight. Okay, at least they are 91 or 92 based on this sample. So in our sample here, we see that usually the higher the height, the higher the weight. So it can be concluded from only this sample, but we need to test further samples as well to have an overall conclusion. But this is just a sample, and I'm trying to give you some insight of how we can interpret and understand this scatter plot. After that, we are going to review the bar charts. Bar charts are very good for comparison. So if you have, for example, category comparison here, it's better to use a bar chart. We're having product A sale, product B sale. So on the x-axis, we are having different types of products, on the sale axis, we are having the number of sale. And we see that product D sold 600 copies, let's say, which is larger than the other ones. So we see that it's very easy to plot this using a bar chart. And here, as always, because we are dealing with bar charts, we are having the products, we are having their sale, we are having the size of the figure, and we are using the bar function in order to plot our figure. We are customizing the color as well. We are having the edge color to be black. And here we see that we are having the grid only for the y-axis. So this part is only having the grid and not this part. Okay. So this is how we can get some insights from our information and our raw data. When we are having some data and we want to interpret this data, it's very good to have some figures so we can understand something from the figures. It's much easier to understand things from the figure. This is why initially we decided to, plot a bar chart, a pie chart, etc. But it's also very important to know which figure we need to have a good understanding. So if we are having the sale of our products in our bar chart, we can see it's very good. But we can also have it in a scatter plot. But a scatter plot like 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point here, and 1 point here. It's not that we cannot understand anything from that, but it's ideal to have it in a bar chart so we can have a better visual plot that says everything in one glance. Okay, so this is why we need to use bar charts here. For example, when we are having different category comparison. Category means product A, B, C, and D. And here we would like to have a figure like this. So this is the best one that we can have. We are combining different concepts. We are having bar charts and also a line chart. So the line chart is showing us the line plot, is showing us the profit, and the scale is on right, you see. Okay, it is shown with red. And for the bar chart, the scale is on left. So here, for example, in the month of January, the sale was around 500 and the profit was around 50. Okay, the profit, which is the red one, which was 50, but the sale in January was around 500. However, in the month of March, we had the sale around 800, but the profit was around 100. Okay, so we see that when we compare these 2 points, we see that in the month of January, we had only like the profit of $50, let's say. Now we are having the profit of $100. So basically our profit somehow doubled. Okay, our profit somehow doubled from January to March. But how much the sale has changed? So the sale is 500 and here it's 800. So for the increase of 300 of sales, we could double our profit. This is one insight that we can understand from comparing the January and March. And of course, we can compare January and February, January and March, January and all the months, then February and March, February and April, February and May, etc. until the end. So we are having a comparison over all the months, and then we can have an average saying that, okay, by the increase of this sale, this unit in sale, we can have the increase this much in percentage of profit. Okay, this is one insight that could be interesting for people from the Department of Marketing or Sales. And they can see, okay, if we increase the sale this much, we are going to get this much of profit. Now let's see how we can increase the sale. For example, Here we see that the sale in the month of January was around 500, and here in the month of June it's around 900. So it's nearly doubled the sale. If this increase is at the same time happening as we are having some promotions, some sales, or we are having some advertisement, it shows that our advertisement is working. You see, because we're increasing the sale and also increasing the profit. So this can be an evidence saying that, okay, we are doing some promotion and it works because we has increased the sale and the profit. So let's invest more in this way. So this is some insight that we can get from this figure. And it's very important to have the right figure so you can have the correct insight easily taken from the figure. Okay. And if I want to draw this, we simply import the necessary libraries. After that, we are having the size here, the size of the figure, and then we are having the cells, the months, and for the bar chart, I'm having it here, the function for the bar chart, month, cell, color, label, and alpha, the transparency level, and the labels. Okay. And here we are saying that for the first chart, which is our bar chart, we are using the AX1 to let the compiler know, okay, we are having two AXs and this is my AX1. And here when we were discussing the sizes, we were using the AX1 because we were discussing the subplots, okay? And here also we are saying that, okay, for the label Y, we need to have the color blue. This is why we are having the color blue here on the label. And then we would like to create our second y-axis. Second y-axis is for the profit. Okay. Here we are having the profit. So these are the units that are used for profit from 50 to 130, 50 to 130. We are having the plot, months, profit, and marker, color, label, and we want it to be dashed line. So we see that it's not a solid line, it's a dashed line. Then we are having the Y label. We would like it to be red. We choose it to be red. So here is our red. And then the label of the y-axis is also profit. It's also red. It is also red. And here we choose the title. We choose the place of the legend. Also, we include the legend. We want it to be upper left. So on the left side, upper, we're going to display this. And we're going to use the show function to display this. So this was a very good example of how we can have the right plot and how to interpret this information. Finally, we are having a comparison here between the line chart, scatter plot, and the bar charts. And for the line chart, it's best for the trend over time. For the scatter plot, relationship between two variables, for example, the correlation. And when we are having the comparison between different categories, it's good to use bar charts. An example of the use cases of line chart is, for example, the stock price or the temperature changes. For the scatter plot, whenever we are having two variables like sales and marketing spend, height and weight. And for the bar chart, we can have sales by product or voters by candidates. For the scatter plot, when we are having sales by marketing, we can understand that with the increase of marketing, is the sale increasing or not? It's very important to understand that for many departments in a company to see if their strategy is working or not. So if it's not working, they're going to change it. So for the line chart, they show the pattern and trend, but they're not suitable for discrete categories. For the scatter plot, they identify the correlations and outliers, and it's hard to interpret them with dense data. And for the bar chart, they are very easy to compare, but the thing is that they cannot show the trend over time. So depending on what we are looking for, we need to choose smartly which one we need to have for our data. Thank you for watching.